Hi everybody, this is Kenny RH again. It's been a while since I did a video. Anybody who's seen my previous videos will know that I'm an avid collector of all things that are not regular editions on PS3. We've already done the variants, I like to call them. We've already done the big collector's editions, which are those big boxes with the statues and the gadgets and what have you, and we've already done a video on steelbooks, which is a particular passion of mine. But today I'm going to talk to you about limited editions. I'll just show you a few here. Okay, now limited editions are good. I'll tell you why they're good, because they don't take up much space. Unlike the collector's editions I have, which take up the whole room practically, these you can store just like you would your ordinary games. As you can see, they take about twice as much space as an ordinary game, or maybe a little bit more. Can I just say at this point, I apologise to anybody who was expecting me to put up a North East Retro Gaming Show video, but first time with a camera and I made an absolute mess of the orientation, and I'm trying to correct it, but I'm not sure if it'll be usable or not. So I apologise to all those people that put in work, and hopefully I'll get it out sooner than later. Anyway, yes, now limited editions. Basically, what you get with limited editions is typically an art book, a steel book, possibly both. In some cases you get art cards. Sometimes you get all three. It just depends on the edition. Some are cheap, some are the same price as a normal game, so why wouldn't you buy one? And in other cases you might pay 10, 15, up to £20 more. But as I say, they're quite interesting in as much as the content is normally pretty solid. Now they come in different types of boxes. You get stuff like this, which is just an ordinary. I'll come around here so I can see it better. Some ordinary boxes. Now the game's not in this one because I've got this particular game in a collector's edition and I don't need two copies of it. So, but you would have the game, and then as you can see you get an art book. You know, just a plain simple box to open. I think they call those clamshell boxes or something. You know, so that's a typical example of what you would get. In a limited edition. That was Hitman Absolution, by the way. This one is kind of unique, the Enslaved edition, because you get the game, you get a soundtrack, which is not uncommon in these, and also you've got a copy of Alex Garland's novel, The Tesseract. Now, Alex Garland, the link here is that Alex Garland did the dialogue and a lot of the writing for the game. So that's the reason for that. But that's quite an interesting example of a typical limited edition. Once again, you've got a clamshell box. Now this one is slightly different. Of course, the other good thing about these is I can actually open them and show them to you. It doesn't take like an hour to open one of these like it does a collector's edition. This particular one is I can't remember how you open it to start with. Anyway, this has got the usual paraphernalia inside. You've got an art book. Give you a little glimpse of stuff from the game. All very nice. This one was actually quite expensive as limited editions go. There again, you get the soundtrack inside. Now this, I'm not going to open all this because it'll take an age to get back in. But that's when you pull that out completely, you get a panorama, a cardboard panorama, like a 3D thing, and then it just all fits back in there nicely. As I say, that one, as I remember, was about 70 quid, which I didn't pay that, but that was the original price of it. So for what you get, quite pricey, that one. You don't see that one around very often either. Then you have, there's another clamshell box. That was the Deus Ex Human Revolution. There was a big edition of that, and this is a smaller limited edition they did, just without the figurine. So you get a nice little. I like these cases. Get a nice little case with your game and your bonus stuff, the making of and what have you. And that fits in there, and then you've got a soft cover art book. I don't care for soft cover art books. I like the hardbacks, but again, you get what you get. Now this is a rather interesting set of limited editions that they did for the Lego games. I've only got 3 of them. Actually, I'm missing quite a few. But what you get is just an ordinary type box that that opens at the top here, and inside you get a copy of the game, and in each of them you get this little Lego toy related to the game. Of course, there's a Harry Potter one. What does it say on the box there? Mini build set, whatever that is. But that's an example of what you find inside them. As I say, there's been a fair few of these done, and I've only got 3 of them. But I'll be looking around to see if I can find the others. I'll just show you won't bother opening them. But there's the Batman 2. So you get a little minifigure in there. I won't bother showing you because you've seen what they are. And that's the Lego Hobbit. Get a Bilbo Baggins mini toy. So I mean, these are quite reasonable now. If you pick, I mean, you can pick them up second hand. There's no DLC attached to them, as far as I know. That's a different one they did. Quite a nice spine on that one, the Lego. But basically, it's the same sort of thing, except inside you got a bonus disc which will have all the making of stuff on, and some Lego stamps, I think they are, or bricks, I don't know. They just come as part of the set. Just something a bit different. I don't think these are actually much more expensive than the vanilla version of the game. And no, that's just this one is, I think it's just another Lego Harry Potter. This is the same game as that one, except this one has got this is a weird one. Yeah, it's got a load of paraphernalia inside. I'll just show you briefly while it's open. That's that's some sort of wallet, some stickers. That's a nice lenticular card, and I think that's probably a map or a poster. Sorry. Some art cards, as far as I can see, unsealed there. Haven't even bothered to open them. So there's an example of some of the other stuff they did for the Lego games. I don't think there was too many. Of course, there's also room for a copy of the game, which is actually in that one. As I say, I normally, as a tip for anybody that buys these sort of things, you don't need 2 copies of the game. So I normally take one game out and sell it, just to free up a bit more money for buying the next one. That was a special edition they did for Grand Theft 405. Now I believe that, as I remember, this actually came with the big collector's edition, but I bought an extra copy of it very cheaply, just because I can then stack it up with the rest of the limited editions. Basically you just get the steelbook, some DLC, and I think that's some sort of blueprint or a map or something. But as I say, that actually came with, if I remember rightly, that actually came with the big collector's edition. So, but they were selling these dirt cheap, so I thought, oh, well, we'll have one to stick with the rest of the stuff.
No.
Okay, now next we have they did a couple of Final Fantasy ones. Now this is a clamshell box. Now that's a nice lenticular card that came with it. You've got a soft cover art book. I know there are a lot of Final Fantasy fans out there, so I'll just give you a brief idea of what's in this colour artwork and black and white. But this is actually a particularly nice example, as you can see, of an art book. It's just a shame. I mean that's lovely. It's just a shame that it's a soft cover rather than a hardback, but it's one of the nicest art books I've seen, actually. There was another edition of this particular one. It was called the Crystal Edition. It came in a bigger box, and it had a lot of soundtracks in. I think it was basically the same as this, but this one's just got a single soundtrack disc. The Crystal Edition had, I don't know, maybe four of those, and then you've got some art cards which I haven't opened yet, and of course a copy of the game which will have, don't know why the game's missing. It's probably in with another Final Fantasy X2 edition that I've got. But basically you would get some DLC, as you get with a lot of these limited editions. But that's a particularly nice one. Now, if I remember rightly, that one was sold off fairly cheaply, but these days it's not so easy to find. I think I saw that in HMV store quite cheaply a few months after it was released. That's Final Fantasy 13, similar sort of thing, except it's just in an ordinary box. Now this one, I don't know why, it's got the soundtrack again, it's got the art cards again, but this particular one had a nice hardback book, and there again the artwork is different to the other one, but it's still a very nice example of an art book. And as I say, I know there are a lot of Final Fantasy fans, so I mean that would be, if you were going to start a collection, that would be a particularly good place to start, in my opinion, because although they're not as cheap as they used to be, again, this one I seem to remember was sold off quite cheaply in some of the stores. The only trouble with these boxes is it's a terror to get stuff back in because of the little ridge on the bottom. Anyway, I think we've managed to throw that one back in, and we'll move on. Maybe not. Okay, well, I'll just leave that one as it is for the time being, because I haven't got the time or patience to do it. Now, fighting games. I know the Street Fighter, obviously, is a very popular game, but they did a lot of limited editions for the BlazBlue games. Now, That's a limited edition for, there's a lot of these. That's the Continuum Shift Extend. Again, I think this typically had, just have a look at one of these because I think they were all very much the same. Oh yeah, this is slightly unusual, as much as you've got the game there, and then they put all the paraphernalia into a DVD box. It's quite rare. So basically, you've got. I'll show you these because they are very nice. You've got this set of art cards, which are kind of pencil outlines, I guess. Difficult to see actually, probably on camera, but just some concept stuff. I mean, I like these myself, but I appreciate they might not be to everybody's taste. But yeah, that was something a bit unique that they did for this series. I don't care for these boxes because, as I say, it's an absolute devil to get stuff back in properly. No, I made it with that one. Okay. Now there were two other BlazBlues. I'll just show you very quickly. That was a limited edition for Continuum Shift. That'll have similar contents, and then they did one for Calamity Trigger. I think that was the first game actually. I think I've probably shown them to you in the wrong order, but there again, just having a look at the back there. Game, DVD, colour booklet. So as you can see, they've all got pretty much the same contents in. And then talking of fighting games, there was that one. I saw a YouTube video of someone in America saying that this was quite scarce. I assume he's talking about just America because I've seen a few knocking about in this country, but this is heavy. I can't actually remember. Oh, I see why it's heavy now. See why it's heavy. Okay. Obviously you can't feel it, but this is a heavy book. It must be on some seriously decent printing paper or whatever they use to make these things. There again, as you can see, the Japanese seem to like this outline pencil artwork. Quite a lot of that in there. But that is particularly heavy. There again, you've got the soundtrack in the DVD case, and oh yeah, lots of move cards that show you the different moves. Particularly good example of a limited edition. That one, I don't think it was that expensive either, as I recall. I think I actually saw one in Computer Exchange the other day for a quite reasonable price. That's the joy of these. I mean, you can pick them up. You can pick them up second hand for quite reasonable prices now. Just leave that as it is. Right, this is a more recent one for those RPG fans amongst you. Tales of Graces. There again, I won't bother opening it because it's very similar to the rest. It's got special content available exclusively for the European release, art book, soundtrack, usual stuff. But yeah, I think that's quite a popular game with the RPG lovers. Now, this is a very early limited edition. I mean, nothing on there that would indicate that it's limited edition, I suppose, apart from the box, which is rather nice. But it's one of those boxes with the magnetic side there. To say this was, I think this, if not the earliest limited edition, it was certainly one of them. Get a copy of the game. That's card with some DLC code on. That's some secrets from the game, and that's a bonus contents disc in the bottom now. I won't bother dragging it out because it looks as if it's set in tight. That's got obviously some making of stuff, but that was a particularly nice limited edition because of the unusual design of it. I've not seen too many like that. Right, now this one's a bit of a rarity. I mean, it's a rarity in as much as it's quite hard to find. Also a rarity in as much as it's a racing game. You don't see many collectors or limited editions for racing games for some reason. This being the first Grid game, which one of my favourite racing games coincidentally. But yeah, basically you just get the game and a hardback book. I think it's, I'll slip that one out. I can't remember what it is. As you say, it's been printed very poorly because it's quite dark. You can't actually see much of it, but it's just basically an art book. Quite rare, as I say, for racing games to have that sort of thing. And in the back there, again, unusually built into the art book is the making of DVD. So that's quite an unusual and interesting limited edition. There is one other car-based limited edition which I'll show you as we get there. Again, Wolfenstein, the New Order, fairly recent game. You get a few bits and pieces in there. Travel card holder, postcards, another little book. That's a more recent one. I think that's one of the most recent I've got, actually. Then you've got this stuff in just, again, in ordinary boxes, but a bit smaller. I mean, these are nice and easy to store. I say inside there is, as I remember, you've just got an art book and the game, so not worth showing you really, because it's the same stuff. I will show you this one, however. This one is quite difficult to find. I actually found this brand new in games some years ago, unusually because it had sold out everywhere, so I was lucky to find it. But basically you get the game with the manual and the DLC. But this one is unusual in as much as you get this little mounted print. There's a name for them, I forget. But that's very unusual. It's the only one I've seen actually. You get a poster and a soundtrack as well. But as I say, that particular one is quite scarce these days. And if you do find it, it's normally fairly expensive, as is a lot of the Naruto stuff. There's a couple of collector's editions you can get also, which are still quite expensive, around about the 70-80 quid mark. Now, right, I'll just take this one out first. Right, this was interesting in as much as this has a lot of content, and it was the same price as a vanilla copy of the game. So you could buy all this for the same price as that. So you'd be a bit dumb actually not to buy it. And what you actually get a strategy guide. Now anybody has played this series of games will know it's rock hard. So a strategy guide would be more than helpful, I would think. And on top of that, you get not only the art book, hardbacked, you get like the one I showed you earlier, the soundtrack built in. I mean, that is a major bargain for, I think it was 40 quid when it came out, as most PS3 games were. But why you wouldn't buy that over just that, I couldn't begin to think. As I say, it's a rock hard game. So, and then I think that was the sequel, wasn't it? Dark Souls. Very similar thing, and as again, I believe it was the same price as the vanilla version. Okay, here's another one for all you Final Fantasy fans. They did the 10 and the 12. I don't know whether you refer to them as that or X and X2. I don't know. I'm not a Final Fantasy man, but this was an HD remaster they did for the PS3. It's got limited edition art book. In fact, you Final Fantasy fans, I'll show you what's in there. It might be a lot easier than trying to read what's in there. Yeah, well, basically it's just another very nice. I mean, look at this stuff. They do some brilliant work for these. I mean, look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. They do some brilliant work for these Final Fantasy art books, I have to say. This is a particularly good example. You know, it's a nice. So I'll just make sure there's nothing else in there. And then in the game you got some DLC and the game. So not major content, but the art book alone would make it. I don't think it was much more than the vanilla copy of the game. So here again, if you're looking to start a collection, look out for that one because it'll only go up in price. I mentioned to you earlier that there weren't many car games with limited editions. This is Gran Turismo 5. Now this actually had a collector's edition, a big major collector's edition with loads of stuff in, and then they brought out this one, which is just basically game with the art it's not an art book. It's more a strategy guide come picture book on how to drive, as I remember. But yeah, I mean this is one of the slipcased types of limited editions that they did, which I like these because you can just slip the stuff out without worrying about having to rive the box open. I just recently bought this one. That's the Battlefield 4 Deluxe Edition. All that is the game with a separate steelbook in a slipcase. I did have the steelbook, but I decided that I would rather have the complete thing in a slipcase. I mean, that was only about £4 in computer exchange. I mean, that's a ridiculous price, really. But that's how cheaply you can pick stuff up if you prepare to look. There's another example of the slipcased. That's the Bioshock 2 Rapture edition. There again, just a copy of the game with a book. I don't know. Yes, it is. It's an art of Bioshock 2. So you actually got the book. I've got the big collector's edition of that, and you actually get the book. But they decided to issue a smaller, cheaper edition because it was quite a popular game. Now this one here, it's another same thing, art book game. I remember this was quite expensive when it came out, and then HMV was selling it for about a tenner or something stupid like that, and now it's gone back up in price again. So I don't know what happens with these things. They obviously had a surplus of stock, but where that surplus of stock has gone, I don't know, because you can't find it very cheaply anymore. But so that's not a particularly great game, but that's another slipcased edition. Okay, I'll have to move around to show you these last few. Okay, now there's another one for all of you Japanese RPG fans. Now, sorry, I'm getting out of order here. That's the second game. Quite hard to find. Now this is the This is the original game. Again, I found a copy of this in game well after it had sold out, became out of print. I don't know whether Game keeps secret stocks in their back rooms or what, but I actually picked that up for 40 quid, and it's quite expensive now. Again, just a slipcase with the art book and game. I've actually played that. It's one of the few Japanese RPGs I've actually played, and I hated it. So I'm sorry, all of you RPG fans, but no. Grumpy Cat says no. Right. There again, that's an example of just it looks like an ordinary game in a slipcase, but in actual fact, if you open it up, it's got a bonus disc, and underneath all this paraphernalia, you'll have DLC. An easy way to package a limited edition. Just bung it in a slipcase, and Bob's your uncle. And then last of the little ones I've got to show you is quite a recent one. This was the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 limited edition. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, this is. Oh yeah, quite unusual. This one. This is not the actual game that slips out. There's your DLC. There's your art book. Sorry, it's upside down for you guys, isn't it? And there's your game. So there's another way of packaging a limited edition, which is quite unusual. So that's basically all I have in the regular limited edition line, which I could do with adding a few more, but I'll get around to it eventually. There are other limited editions that come in a rather odd format, which I might as well cover while we're talking about limited editions. That's the very odd practice of issuing games in boxes, steel boxes. Now, I've never quite understood why they bother with this, because it seems a very, I don't know, seems a very unwieldy, strange way of packaging in a tin. But there's your Dead or Alive 5 with your statutory art book, so just the usual stuff you get with not particularly interesting art book in my opinion. And then underneath here you have, that's obviously a poster, and then in the bottom you've just got a copy of your game. So I mean that to me is a very strange way of marketing things. Don't know, got me beat. That's that, and then I'll just move up the end. I'll show you. I'll just move that to the top because I'm coming to that in a minute. Right, that's just the one I showed you earlier, so I'll take that off. Yeah, and there again you have they've done this with various editions of Assassin's Creed. This again is just the box, as you can see, in a very strange cardboard package. I've never understood how they package these things. Very weird for that. And then they did a one for one of the Superbike games. It's just got an acetate sleeve on it, and inside you just got the usual stuff. This was even weirder. This one. I think this was the very first tin they did for the first Assassin's Creed game. Now you've got that massive tin. Okay, have a look at that. Got quite nice artwork on it, so it's got a bit bent in the post. Sadly, or however I bought it, I've had it bent in the post. And inside you have, rattling around in all that space, one copy of the game and some art cards. Don't ask me. Oh, that's got, unless there's supposed to be something else in there. I just don't understand that method of packaging. This one was I don't know whether this or the Assassin's Creed game actually came earlier. This is an example of a smaller tin. This one's interesting in as much as far as I know, it's the first one that came with a little gadget. That's supposed to be something. I mean, I did play the game briefly back in the day, I think that's some sort of hypodermic gadget or something that actually came in the game, and then you've got your game packaged in there. Once again, a very strange way of packaging stuff, but that one you won't see around too often actually. Even if you look on eBay, it's not too easy to find. And then we have this one of my favourite games, game franchises, Soul Calibur. Yeah, we seem to have an interloper in the space where these were. Right, sorry about that, folks. Yeah, this is the. I always remember this is an absolute swine to get out of here. Pardon the language. Right, we'll try it from this way. No, won't come. Anyway, so save wasting time. Oh yes, here we go. Right. Right. Yeah, this is an interesting packaging. In fact, it's a box in the shape of a book. There you have your making of DVD, your game, and cards, and ta-da! A very nice, very nice hardback art book with all the characters. I mean, that's a lovely art book, one of my favourites ever. Just most of the characters in different poses, but yeah, that's an interesting way of packaging a game. And I think they did one other. Might have been I can't remember. They did do one other in that style of packaging. But yeah, looks nice on your shelf anyway. So that's about it. That's about it for the limited editions. Like I say, it's something that's easy to get into because the collector's editions are unwieldy, big and expensive. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video anyway, and next time I'll be concluding the PS3 collection videos with just ordinary editions that are variants, but they're just ordinary games that are variants, and we'll get around to that the next time. Okay, thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.